Inside every phone, laptop, gaming console, or computer you use every day, there's something extraordinary. A tiny chip, smaller than your fingernail, capable of performing trillions of calculations every second. But if you zoom in, really zoom in, you'll find something even more incredible. A microscopic city made of billions of components, all working together in perfect synchronization. And at the very bottom of it all are transistors. A transistor is a tiny electronic switch. It controls the flow of electricity, turning it on or off. On represents a 1 up, off represents a 0. That's it. That's the foundation of all computing. Everything from sending a message to rendering a 3D game or running artificial intelligence ultimately comes down to billions of these tiny switches flipping on and off at incredible speeds. To understand how powerful this is, let's go back in time. In 1983, a computer like the Apple IIe used a processor with just over 4,000 transistors. It could perform around 400,000 calculations per second. At the time, that was revolutionary. Today, a modern chip like Apple's M1 contains around 16 billion transistors and can perform trillions of calculations per second. That's not just an improvement, and yet, despite this massive difference in power, both of these chips operate using the same fundamental idea. Every processor follows a simple cycle: fetch, decode, execute. First, it fetches an instruction from memory. Then it decodes that instruction to understand what it means. Finally, it executes it. Then it repeats the process again and again, billions of times per second. This simple loop is the core of all computing. It's the shared DNA across every processor built over the past 50 years. You can imagine it like a workspace. There's long-term storage, like bookshelves, where all your data is stored. There's short-term memory, like a cart, that moves data around. There's a table where the actual work happens. That's the CPU. On the table, there's a piece of paper for storing active values, a pencil for writing and erasing, and a calculator that performs operations. And controlling everything is a robot that fetches instructions, moves data around, and performs calculations. Every task your computer does is broken down into simple instructions. Load a value, add 2 numbers, store the result, jump to another instruction. Even the most complex programs are just millions of these tiny steps executed in sequence. Surprisingly, even modern processors only use a few hundred different types of instructions. Everything you do on a computer is built from combinations of these basic operations. Modern CPUs have become incredibly advanced. They don't just execute one instruction at a time. They use pipelining, predicting instructions, and multiple cores working in parallel. They run at speeds measured in gigahertz, billions of cycles per second. But no matter how advanced they get, they still rely on the same basic principle. And all of this depends on transistors. The smaller you can make transistors, the faster they can switch, and the more you can fit onto a chip. For decades, this led to a remarkable trend. Every couple of years, the number of transistors on a chip would double. This became known as Moore's Law. It drove the rapid progress of the tech industry for over 50 years. But around 2015, something changed. Transistors were becoming so small that we were approaching physical limits. It was getting harder and harder to shrink them further. The problem wasn't just design, it was manufacturing. To build these chips, engineers use a process called photolithography, carving microscopic patterns onto silicon using light. Eventually, even this reached its limit. To go further, the industry needed extreme ultraviolet light. EUV, with a wavelength of just 13.5 nanometers. Only one company in the world managed to build the machines for this, ASML. Their system creates light using molten tin droplets hit by powerful lasers, turning them into plasma hotter than the surface of the sun. That light is shaped by mirrors so precise that if scaled to Earth's size, their largest flaw would be thinner than a playing card. And all of this exists for one purpose: to make transistors smaller. When you connect everything together, the picture becomes clear. Your computer runs on simple instruction cycles, powered by billions of transistors, built using one of the most advanced machines ever created. Every app, every video, every game, everything depends on this chain. From microscopic switches to machines the size of buildings. It's all part of the same story. And it all comes back to something incredibly simple. Tiny switches turning on and off, but billions of times per second, shaping the digital world we live in.